Patience has been a big word that we've heard from a lot of mothers. They're wanting more patience, to have more patience with their children. And when we started thinking about how we could answer that and support that, we realised that we often have a skewed perception of what patience is. And actually the word patience, the root of it, comes from some Latin word that means endure, to have to put up with something.
To suffer through.
Yeah. So the word itself is not actually the most ideal word for the act of patience in the way that we're describing it. Because there is such a big difference between patience meaning enduring something, like, oh, I'll just be patient through this no matter what, and actually embracing the moment and joining the moment and feeling patient from a space of genuine
surrender to the moment.
Yes. So we have a little 5-step, or actually 5 with an optional 6-step process to have more patience with your children.
And how to get there in the moment.
And the first step is actually one you can do right now, and then it will carry through to the moment. And that is to be aware of those times when you generally do get impatient. You have like triggers that would be pretty similar each time. Like you might most get impatient when you're trying to get out the door, or you might most get impatient when your young child is helping you in the kitchen,
or trying to get dressed,
or trying to get to bed.
And you'll notice that a lot of these patient points are around time. That time is playing a big piece in here, that you're feeling short on time or rushed.
So noticing generally the times when you get most impatient is important, because those are the times that you're going to enact this practice, that you're going to go through these steps. So when you know that it's coming up to bedtime and that's the time when you lose your patience, that's when you enact this practice. It's coming up to bedtime, you go, right, that practice, that patience practice that Lisa and Kay said on that video, now's the time, get ready for that.
Yeah. Okay, so right now, just check in with yourself. When do you get most impatient with your children in the day?
So then, in the moment when you are getting impatient, notice in the moment, track the thoughts that are going on. The impatience is fueled by thoughts.
So why you track your thoughts? Your thoughts will fuel and drive your emotions and your actions. Okay? So you need to be consciously aware of what's running there, and by being consciously aware of it, they lose their power over you. You're no longer controlled by them if you can witness them. So that's why you track. Wow, look, I'm noticing I'm saying all this stuff in my head, and it will completely dissolve its power to run the situation. Okay, so some of the thoughts that you might be feeling is, I don't have time for this always takes so long, we're never going to get there, I just want this to be done, I just want this to be over.
This will be way too messy, I'm going to have to clean this up.
I wish they'd get to the point.
Yep. And then the next step is to notice that whenever you're in this space where all these thoughts are happening, whatever they are, and you're feeling impatient, you are in a fight-flight mode. You're in that space where you're wanting to either get out of this situation as quickly as possible or fight through it. And it's to notice that you're in that space and that it's pointless, that it's not going to serve you, because that mode won't serve this moment. So it's to notice that you're kind of in that frenzy, in that fight or in that panic, and to consciously choose to let it go. To consciously go, I give up the fight. I surrender. I let go. I don't need to control this moment. I don't need to make it different urgently right now. Like, just take a breath and surrender the fight.
Now that can actually feel like a really big ask in the moment, okay? I understand if you're thinking, how can I do that? Just like surrender to the moment. Because sometimes that can feel really difficult to do. So we are asking you to trust and have a little faith here, because by doing so, you actually can move through the moment faster, okay? By actually surrendering to it. So there is method in our madness. You just have to trust. and surrender and know that that fight or flight, that reptilian part of our brain, is not going to serve us here if we're trying to reach for patience. Okay, so step 4. Once you've embraced or surrendered into the moment, then the next thing you want to do is you want to zoom in. Okay, so quite often when we're in a place of impatience, it's because we're in big picture mode. We're often thinking into the future or into the past or both. And so we have that big picture in mind. I have a lot I have to get done today. This has to happen for this to happen, for this to happen. This will be the consequence of this, of this, of this. And we're in a very big picture place. You want to zoom in, let go of all of that, zoom in into this moment, into this hour, into this exact moment, and get present with this moment and this person in front of you. And here is the key, because this is going to connect you to your values and your empathy, and patience will follow. Zoom into the moment and zoom into this person in front of you. And the next step, step 5, is to ask yourself, what is important to this person in this moment? Okay, so what is important to them? And why is that important to me? Why is what's important to them important to me? If you ask yourself those 2 questions, your whole perception of the moment will shift, and you can actually embrace the moment and be in the moment with the other person. And you'll actually reach patience from that space. So they're the 5 main steps. And if you need to add your optional 6th, then you totally can. And the optional 6th is to then express outwards. So if you've reached this point, you've shared the moment, you've focused on what's important for them and reorientated back to your values, and you still feel like, but I'm still in a really big hurry, then in that case, then you express outwards. And you do that just by simply stating what you're feeling and what you're needing in the moment.
So the 5 steps, the first one is to notice the triggers, the key points that you generally lose patience at. Like, what are the times of day? What are the things that are going on? And the second step is to track those thoughts that are fueling your impatience.
In the moment.
Yes, in the moment. When that's happening. Say when you are actually trying to get your children to bed. And then the next step is to surrender, to give up the fight. To remind yourself that it's actually pointless in your quest for patience to be in that gotta rush, gotta get out of this situation, gotta fight this situation mode. So just take a breath and surrender. And then the next step is to zoom in, come into this moment with this person right in front of you. So when you're zoomed into this moment and this person, to ask yourself, what's important to this person right now? And why is that important to me? And then optionally, step 6 is to express what you're feeling and what you're needing. Okay, we'll say that. Okay. You know those times, Miss Camera Woman, when this stuff happens. It means we're not just talking.
Oh, what did you put in your tea, woman? Okay.
Okay.